rapid. Here I am, driving a BMW. Yeah, I'm allowed to drive BMWs from time to time. It may not be the main staple of the Project Nigel channel, but I am allowed to drive them. And when I'm being offered, I'm going to take it. This is a Z4, but a newer one, a 2009 Z4 with the 3-litre twin turbo. And I'm anticipating it being reasonably fast. Put it into sport mode. There we go. Sport button there. So, sport. Yes, sport. I've just driven it in normal kind of economy mode to start off with there, and put it in sport automatic because you don't want to do it all at once, do you? That goes. Do you know what? That's terrific. And typically I'm behind some slow-moving traffic, which is kind of what I was hoping to avoid actually. Reasonably high-powered cars like this with the option of turning off the traction control isn't really something I particularly want to do. Because for one thing, it's not my car, and the other thing is that, you know, you may think you're clever by driving around a rear-wheel drive car with the back end, the arse sticking out, drifting and stuff, but at some point you will run out of luck, and once you run out of luck, accidents happen. And there's nobody saying, oh well, it's not luck, it's skill. Well, yeah, fair enough, it may be skill, but when you have that accident, is it still skill or is it bad luck? I am not the world's biggest fan of BMW, but I must say this does drive exceptionally well. The steering is really nicely weighted, the seats are really good, the visibility is a bit well, it's not great actually. You look out the narrow windscreen and you've got a very long bonnet and you sat quite low down. Watch how this picks up. Jesus. It is a bit of a monster if I'm honest. So how many horsepower has this got? I think it's over 300 anyway. I'll need to find out. Little ever so slight burble on the overrun. No, there's stupid pops and bangs stuff, but just a little, oh, you can hear it there. Is it again? And this Suzuki Alto in front's going exceedingly slowly. And the truth is I don't really need a great deal of power to get past it because of how slowly it's actually going. And I don't really want to be going over the top. Actually, he's doing nearly 40. Doesn't look it, does it? Looks like he's doing about 10. So now I'm doing 60, and he's doing 60 as well. Why do people do that? This is a rather manly car. I'm not saying that's a particularly good thing, but this huge bonnet on there, that's what manly cars have, isn't it? A great long bonnet and somewhere to sit that's actually closer to the back than the front, right in front of the rear wheel. Getting in isn't too difficult because there's no roof, and once in, there's actually quite a bit of room in here. The doors are quite high up, so if you're going to do that thing where you rest your arm on the door there, you're going to end up with this kind of thing, looking like you're doing some sort of cockney knees up impression. Dashboard is all really rather nicely laid out actually. This pretend aluminium. It actually feels solid as well, which is quite nice because we're used to a lot of more modern German engineering as being a bit not as good as it used to be. Not as good as it used to be. You cannot be serious. But I am. I'm very serious. Buttons on the steering wheel. Phone call. Shout louder. Turn the car around. What's that? Have a cigarette? Should we have a look under the bonnet? That was nice and easy. Oh gosh, a rather light bonnet. Either it's a very light bonnet or it's because it's got two immense gas struts there. But I kind of suspect that that's made of aluminium anyway. You can actually see an engine under there rather than just a big piece of plastic. And it does look rather immense. We've got these rather purposeful strengthening thingies, I forgot what you call them. And the bonnet's a clamshell bonnet as well, which is unusual, but it does suit it. I suppose that's reminiscent of the original Z3. It's not entirely without its influence, is it? What about the boot? How big's the boot? How easy can we get into the boot? How easy can I find my way into the boot? Will I figure it out? Or will I simply get confused and give up? That? It's locked. That means either there's a button on the inside here somewhere to open the boot, or it's been locked because I'm not allowed in there. Let's have a closer look at these buttons then. So, heated seat, rescuing a donkey from a swamp, camping, and shouting again. I don't think it could be either of those. That's the stereo. That's obviously not going to give any clues away. And the heating controls here as well, which I may as well. These heating controls were on full when I got into the car. They got hot really quickly and I simply didn't need to. I reckon I might well have just found it. That's it. Boot open. As you can see, there's not much of a boot left actually once you consider that the roof is actually in there. Roof and a big amplifier and a few bits of wire, and that's all there's room for. Well, I don't know, I mean you'll get a loaf of bread in there, some tinned mackerel, 5 or 6 beers, maybe some rum up herring as well. Oh, and cat food. That's always necessary, isn't it? The build quality does actually seem to be quite nice actually, but a bit more on the exterior styling I think. A small but wide bottom, and these swage lines that they start off that way and they cross over, but they don't get too confused because the door handle gives the clue to where the front swage line is going, and then the rear swage line gets so far and thinks, oh, I'm no longer part of this picture, I think I'll stop. A very steep angle all the way along to the end there. It was kind of, you would easily polish through the paint there. Big grey wheel, ooh, dust cloud! Wasn't expecting that. The styling overall is quite subtle really. Obviously it's before they started putting those massive grills on, and this just appears to be about right. I mean, the whole car is relatively inoffensive to look at. There is a slight hint of the original 6 Series about the back though, because that boot looks like it's kind of an add-on and cutting across into the rear lamp somewhat, but of course it's not. And when you look at it like that, suddenly it could be a bit offensive. So the best thing to do is, if you've got one of these, don't look at the rear end and think about the 6 Series. Other than that, it's relatively yeah, do you know what, I hate to say this, but I prefer this to the look of the old car. What's it called again? What kind of car is this? I've forgotten. What is it? Eh? Z4, that's it. I prefer this to the look of the old Z4, but I think the Z4 of old was a bit more striking. Fourth gear really pulls up the hill like that. Oh. 5th gear, 6th gear, does it have 7? It does have 7, yeah. Does it have 8? No, it doesn't have 8 gears. It has 7. 7's more than enough, especially when you can't even see where you're going because your hair's blowing all over the place. Yes. I'm going to pull over and just do that ever so slightly again, I reckon. Does it change down for you? Yeah, it does. Right, good. But apparently, once it's in sport mode, it will stay there. I know this car is made to be like a track car as well. It's made to go quick on bends, and probably around this area it would be fantastic. But quite simply, I think it's okay to go fast in a straight line, but once you're going around bends and doing things like that, it's all very brave, but you don't actually know what's around the other side, do you? So it's just not a good idea. Oh. Jesus, that's rapid. It's not very often I get into a car and I put my foot down and suddenly I find myself thinking, oh no, I'm going too fast. But I actually did then. I was going I picked up a bit more than I was expecting. I'm still in control, but it was just actually too fast. Then you put it back into automatic and it's just quite serene really. I don't know what, I've just indicated to pull into a lay-by and there's nobody around me. Isn't that strange? In conclusion then, and we do need a conclusion to these kind of things, I have to kind of tell you what I actually think of it. And it's simple. It's great. It really is. It's a great car. It's much quicker than I was expecting. It's also quite a lot easier to drive than I anticipated as well. I can get in and out of it nice and easily, and its looks don't offend me. So there we go. It's good. I like it. Ultimately though, if I could afford to have this car, would I have it? And the answer is no. For the same reason as I don't want most cars. And that is that although it drives fantastically and it's wonderfully fast, and it is quite intuitive as well, it still doesn't have the looks that I'm after. And the only place you can really get those is with old cars. And that's partly the reason I like them. That was weird, I just got given way to by a BMW driver. Thank you for joining me in this video and for watching it all the way to the end, which you have done unless you've skipped it to the end. Please like and subscribe, share if you want to, and don't forget to press that notifications bell thingy. That would be rather helpful. Become a channel member. Join me for lunch. Send me a Cornish pasty. Anything you like, you can do.